October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So, of course, we're going to visit with our good friend Dr. Daniel Ragsdale to find out what we need to do to remain aware, not just for the month of October, but all the time.
Right, and I think you posed it just right. It's not just about the month of October. I think we can all agree that not a day goes by that there's not another revelation in the newspaper. We open your browser and you see there's been a massive breach, millions, billions of passwords lost, and data. So frankly, Cybersecurity Awareness Month has been with us for a decade plus, and it's very good because it causes people to take a step back and reflect on what they can do as individuals. And there's a series of events that happen throughout the course of October. Some right here on the campus. There's a wonderful cybersecurity showcase that's going to be taking place at the new hotel and conference center right here on campus. And frankly, what the advice I give to folks is, Google is your friend. I mean, you can get out there and search for cybersecurity events and see what's going on. The thing that I like in particular, though, is people have already gotten it. I really believe that people understand that there are some risks associated with their activities online, whether they be in the home or in the office. And what I joke with my students that the cybersecurity professional has used to be the guy or gal in the back that didn't see much. So now the cybersecurity professional has become a superhero.
Absolutely.
Protecting us and defending us and keeping us safe. But we have an individual personal responsibility, much like we do our own personal safety in the physical world. And I'd like to offer some tips, if you will, for some of your viewers, some of the things that they can do to keep themselves safe. And some of them are actually pretty simple. And
I like simple.
Oh, simple is good. and I'll also highlight that Google. Some of the things they're going to say, well, I don't know the details. Well, Google will fill in the blanks.
You can go find out.
You can find out. So in particular, I encourage people to pause. To just, before they take an action, especially if there's an emotional, visceral response to something they see in an email or on a website or on a social media site, just pause and reflect for a second, because there are many, many, both nation state and criminal actors out there that would like to do harm or damage. So just stop for a second and reflect. Also accept a little inconvenience. That's in our lives, we accept inconvenience to keep some of our personal belongings safe, whether it be in the home or valuable jewelry that we put in a safe deposit box, for example. So accept a little inconvenience, because every time we do something for convenience, there's no free lunch. So when we, when we download that app and it says, hey, we're going to do this really cool thing, you're going to get this convenience in your life, what's in it for them? And I don't even mean that these companies are all nefarious actors.
But you don't know.
You actually, the thing you don't know for sure is if they're collecting data on you, how they're storing it, with whom they're sharing it, and with whom might breach that data as a nefarious actor. So we need to be a little bit cautious about getting the next convenient thing, whether it be on an app or otherwise, because there's no free lunch. So beyond that, and these are some tips that I've shared before, but I want to reemphasize. Everyone should absolutely, positively use two-factor authentication when given the opportunity. Now, those words are, what is that? Anytime somebody says, we'll send you a code to give you better security, accept that. Okay? So accept it always. It's not perfect, but it's way better than a simple password, because we should assume all of our passwords are breached. Just assume that. Make that assumption. It's not a bad assumption. The hundreds of passwords we all have, and we never reuse them, do we?
Oh, never.
No, never. So use that second factor, and in many cases, it'll keep you more secure. Okay. So beyond that, use a password manager. Password managers are now become state-of-the-art, state-of-the practice. You could say, well, I could use Chrome's or Safari's password manager. Actually, the companies that do password managing for us do it right. There's been there's been some limited breaches, but it's something I use, and it gives me presence of mind to know that it's very unlikely that my passwords that are now managed by this concern are going to be breached.
Okay, good.
So now, next tip is freeze, don't lock. So I'm going to say that 3
Okay.
times. Freeze, don't lock your credit report.
Okay.
It's now free. So the last time we talked about it, it cost some money.
Right.
Our Congress has enacted a legislation that makes it free to freeze our credit.
Good.
That keeps us not absolutely safe, but it makes sure that somebody can't open up an account in your name.
Good.
It actually insulates you from most of the financial fraud that
Okay.
somebody could do if they breach, if they steal your identity.
Right.
So freeze, don't lock your credit. It's not that hard to do. And again, Consumer Union, they could search for that. It actually has a good way of describing how for all 3, there's actually 4, but for the 3 main credit unions, credit bureaus,
Right.
it will keep you that much more safe. The only way they can get you financially then, if they can't get access to your credit report, is if they steal your credentials for your financial services.
Okay.
And you can help protect that with 2-factor authentication and password managing. So these things together will help us be much more secure. The 2 final tips: keep your software up to date, and always try to operate with the most secure configuration. They can say, here's 3 settings. Always take the more secure one that you live with. You do
All right.
this, you're going to be that much more secure. And
And that's why he's a superhero, right?
okay.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
my absolute pleasure.
Always good to have you here.
Okay.
All right, cybersecurity.tamu.edu can get you more information. And like you said, Google is your friend. Check it
Okay.
out. All right, thanks.
Thank you.